What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my Week 15 top 25 college basketball rankings. But before I get into it, we got to talk about who's dropping from my rankings. Illinois and UConn, for the first time this year, falling out of my top 25. They just can't find ways to win games late. Illinois struggling right now, but UConn stays in the others receiving votes. UCLA and Maryland very close to getting into my rankings. Same with Mississippi State. And then a team that no one's really talking about right now is New Mexico. This team is putting together some very good quality wins in the Mountain West. They're 21 and 4, a team to watch out for here in these upcoming weeks. 21 through 25, the back half of my 25. Missouri, St. Mary's, and Texas Tech all fall after just collapses of weeks, I guess you could say, especially for Missouri, losing two games to ranked teams. I get it, but it's the SEC. They're 6 and 4. You got to win at least one of those games to really beat up there with those big dogs. St. Mary's, tough loss on the road to San Francisco. They respond well with a win over Oregon State. They're falling 9 just because they're not one of those high-profile teams this year. They are going to get bumped a lot further down than other teams like Texas Tech. Texas Tech went on the road, faced Arizona, lost by 9, but it was a close game until the end and just really couldn't get anything going. They're 18 and 5, 9 and 3 in the Big 12, and still have a very good shot at winning that conference. Wisconsin, Louisville, both go 2-0 last week, moving up 3 spots. Not much to report there, but Wisconsin only one game this week on the road at Purdue. Huge game for the Big Ten standings. 16 through 20, and Arizona jumping from not ranked all the way to 16. They are just on fire right now. I think it's 7 in a row they've won. They're 11 and 1 in the Big 12. And this team at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of concern, but this team has really found their footing now in Big 12 play. They get Kansas State on the road, who just beat Kansas. That's going to be a tough game. And then they get Houston at home. Now, if they can walk out 2-0 this week, they're a top 10 team in my eyes. Ole Miss, 2-0 last week, beat Kentucky by 14, go on the road, face LSU, beat them by 2. So they're moving up as well. Ole Miss goes to 17. Easier opponents this week than I think it was last week just because of the home and away. Marquette struggling. I know it's Marquette lost to Creighton here, but the body of work that Marquette has this year compared to Creighton's is a little better. So I'm going to put those two at 18 and 19. It may not make sense to you, but where I'm sitting, I think that's kind of where we go. And speaking of these two teams, they're both trending in completely opposite ways. Marquette has really struggled to win these games that matter, and they're falling down. Where Creighton is starting to get going, I think. This team's kind of like Arizona. They're 11 and 2 in the Big East, and this is the biggest week for Creighton this year. UConn at home, who knows, could be still ranked in the AP poll. That's why there's that question mark there. And then at St. John's, probably the hottest team in college basketball this weekend. So huge week for them. And same goes for Michigan. Close games against Oregon and Indiana. They should have blew out Indiana, let them come back into that one, escape with a win there. And then they get Purdue at home. So it's a huge week for Michigan, especially in the Big Ten standings. Then at Ohio State, obviously the rivalry game there. 11 through 15, Memphis is the big team and the big winner in these 5 teams. Moving up 5 spots, just keep on finding ways to win games. 20 and 4, 10 and 1 in the American Conference. Iowa State, Kansas. I think these two teams are going to be floating around this top 10, probably a 3 seed, 4 seed when it comes down to it in March, unless one of these teams gets hot and wins the Big 12. Iowa State has lost 3 of their last 4 now after their win against TCU. So they're treading water at this point in the season. They need these 2 wins this week to get back on track. Same goes for Kansas, an easier schedule this week. Colorado and Utah need 2 wins to get back on track. Then Kentucky is in an interesting spot here. Tennessee at home. If they lose that one, move to 5 and 6 in conference play, which is crazy. And then at Texas, which is always a tough place to play. Then Clemson is an interesting team in the ACC this year. 11 and 2. You lose in triple overtime to Georgia Tech. They just couldn't find a way to win that game at the end. And then beat Duke by 6 at home. So they're moving up. I get they had a loss, but beating Duke this year is pretty much impossible, is what it feels like. And Clemson did it at home, so they're getting that 1 spot moving up. But they're a team to watch out for. I think that could be a sleeper team entering March. They could, make a Sweet 16 run. 6 through 10, and I'm finally giving St. John's its real flowers, moving up to 7 in my rankings, 5 spots after beating not one, but 2 ranked teams in Big East play. Marquette by 6, UConn by 6, and that one's on the road. And they get rewarded this week with another ranked team in Creighton at home and at Villanova, which has always been a tough place to play in these last few years. So St. John's, they're on a heater. They're 12 and 1 in Big East play. More than likely going to be a top three seed in March. And Rick Pitino's got them playing really good basketball right now. Same goes for Houston. Houston stays at six, two more wins, 19 and 4, 11 and 1 in Big 12 play, and they keep on winning games. Arizona is going to be a great game at Arizona this weekend. Purdue, I think this is a put up or shut up week for Purdue. They beat Iowa by 9, beat USC by 18, but now you get Michigan and Wisconsin, two ranked teams in the Big Ten that are all coming for that top spot that Purdue has. So they got to at least go 1-1 to keep their footing atop the Big Ten. But if they go 0-2 this week, I think they're going to be falling drastically down in my rankings and obviously the Big Ten standings as well. And then same goes for Michigan State. Lost at UCLA by 2, beat Oregon by 12, and it doesn't look as bad as it really was for Michigan State because this team was down early and big, and then they just all of a sudden took over in the second half and beat them by 12. So it's a little misleading there, that final score, but it was tale of two halves for Michigan State. And then we'll jump back to Texas A&M at 9, moving up one, get a road win at Missouri. And they get rewarded this week with two home games against some easier opponents. Should get to 20 wins this week, stay in the top 10. As I think they're probably the sleeper team in the SEC right now, just because of all these teams that are ranked right here, 1 through 4, all in the SEC. Auburn at 1. I think they have enough work that they've done this year. It should be 21 and 2 to stay atop number 1 after the loss to Florida. They get Alabama this weekend on the road. Huge game, probably going to be 1 versus 2 in the AP poll as well to decide who's going to be the number 1 team in the country. Tennessee beats Missouri by 4, go on the road, destroy Oklahoma. They were up 20 at half. They just coasted to that victory. And then Florida, they beat Auburn in Auburn. I think that is a huge win, and more than likely, I think we got to take Florida serious now that they're 20 and 3. Their 3 losses, obviously in SEC play. What same goes for Tennessee. Those two teams find ways to beat up on each other in SEC play. And then Duke, like I said, lost to Clemson, so they're moving down from 2 to 5 just because it's the ACC pretty weak. They should rebound very well this week with 2 easy wins in ACC play. But like I said, those SEC teams 1 through 4, you got another one in the top 10. 5 out of the 10 teams right now, in my eyes, are SEC teams in the country. But that's gonna be it for my Week 15 top 25. Check back next week as we're getting another week closer to March after the Super Bowl. We got a month and probably 2 weeks until the first game of March Madness. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, stay informed on all things college basketball. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.